We're joined now by former Representative Doug Collins, Republican of Georgia. Congressman Collins, welcome back to the show. Good to see you.
It's good to see you as well.
Okay, so when you left Congress 3 years ago, it was to run for an open Senate seat. And some of the same thing is happening with retirements that we're seeing right now. People are running for different positions. But there are people like Congressman Ken Buck, who has cited extremism for one of the reasons that he's leaving. And Congresswoman Debbie Lesko said in her retirement statement, she said, right now, Washington, D.C. is broken and it's hard to get anything done. So how much of this exodus do you think has to do with the dysfunction we're seeing in Congress, or is it something else?
Probably more than's let on, Lindsay. I have to be honest. I talk to a lot of members still. I still go to D.C. a good bit and discuss some stuff with members, and I talk to them offline. There's members who will not leave that are very frustrated because and one actually told me the other day, if I had something else I knew that I could go do right now, I would go do it. And it is a frustration factor, and because there's not getting anything done. You have a majority in the House that's acting more like a minority at times than it is a majority. You have a Senate that becomes a social kind of, it just they blend together. Republicans and Democrats blend together, sometimes get stuff done, but many times don't. And then you got an administration that is completely out of touch with most Americans. So it's probably more than we let on, because it's not something you want to talk about. But there is a lot of frustration in Congress.
And to that point, you don't see a lot of working across the aisle. It's not only that people are leaving at a record rate, it's that institutionalists like former Speaker Kevin McCarthy and Patrick McHenry in the House, and then Joe Manchin and Mitt Romney in the Senate are departing. So how do you think that is going to affect the next Congress?
I think it can make a big difference in it because I know this is for those who want to see things change overnight, especially conservatives, and I get it. You want to see things change overnight because you don't like the direction. I get that. But there has to be some sense of this is the purpose that Congress was made for 200 plus years ago, that there is a give and take. There is, a discussion. I know some of my friends say, well, Democrats never give. Well, actually they do, whether you like it or not. Some of the bills that they actually passed could have been worse. I know that's hard to believe, but it could have been. And so, but they put it, when the Democrats have been in power in the House, only 8 years, by the way, out of the last 30, they've been able to pass legislation that Republicans have seemed to be more stymied on because they're willing to see the overall picture, get all they can and go with that, and then try to do some more later. Losing people who have knowledge of the institution, how to pass bills, how to work between the aisles, and get stuff done is going to make it a little more harder because you'll be more polarized as it comes. I remember this is the 5-year anniversary of the First Step Act, which I authored along with partner with Hakeem Jeffries, who's now the minority leader in the House. And between the two of us, we had passed 4 or 5 pieces of major legislation that affected businesses, from trade secrets to Music Modernization Act, and those were done in a bipartisan way, and we were able to do it. You don't see that anymore right now.
When Kevin McCarthy announced his retirement, he said that one of the reasons he was leaving, which I think we know much of the reason, but he said one of the reasons was to continue to recruit our country's best and brightest to run for elected office. But how difficult do you think it is going to be now to recruit quality people to Congress when it does seem like much is getting done and we see how divided the nation is?
It's going to be tough because I think I've said this before, Lindsay. I think the American public, both on the left and the right, have divorced real world and politics. And until we get back to the understanding that politics and real world have to coexist, in other words, you get stuff done in your business life, but then you expect 100% of what you want from your representative or your senator in Congress is just not realistic. And I think it's harder and harder. And I know men and women who would be probably very good at it who tell me there's no way. I'm not going to go up there and spend time away from my family and, you take all the stuff that comes with that to end up basically spinning my wheels. And I think it takes a special person to run for Congress. I know that's not a popular opinion, among others, but it is a hard life. You're compensated well. I get that, which you are. And you're humbled by the fact that you get to serve. But it is difficult. And especially when you've got members or you have situations in which it's either my way or the highway, which is not reality in any stretch of the imagination. It makes it hard to get people to want to go.
Yeah. In the final seconds here, we've nearly seen 40 retirements so far. We typically don't get these announcements until the beginning of an election year. Do you think this suggests there will be many more on the horizon coming in the final seconds?
Yes, I do. I think there'll be more, and as people go home here at Christmas with the dysfunction this week in Congress, I think you'll see several more here probably in the next 10 to 15 days coming out of the Christmas break.
Wow. Well, a lot more to talk about and how this will affect the new Congress as we talk about the election in 2024. Congressman Collins, always good to see you. And if we don't see you before then, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Y'all take care.